Hi there. Do you know that you just might be qualifying for a council tax support you never applied for? Well, we'll guide you.
Every single year, thousands of people in the UK get a court summons for council tax they simply can't afford. It's a terrifying experience. But what's even worse is that a huge number of them never knew they could have had their bills slashed in the first place. That's a position no one should be in, and we want to help you make sure it doesn't happen to you. This guide has been put together by the expert UK tax advisors at My Tax Accountant, and it's designed to give you a clear, simple way to understand council tax support. You know that feeling, right, when that brown envelope from the council lands on the doormat? Your stomach just drops. For so many of us, it's a huge source of financial stress. But there is a really important safety net out there designed to take that pressure off. So stay with me, because understanding how this works could genuinely make a massive difference to your monthly budget. So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the council tax challenge itself, then we'll get into what council tax support actually is. After that, we'll look at who's eligible, how your discount gets worked out, the practical stuff like applying and appealing, and we'll wrap it all up with what to do next. Okay, so first things first, let's quickly talk about that bill and what it's actually for. You know, from getting the bins collected every week, to fixing potholes, to funding local schools and crucial social care services, council tax is what makes our communities tick. But let's be honest, there's no escaping it. For a lot of households, it's one of the biggest and toughest bills to pay. And that is exactly why this safety net exists. And that safety net is called council tax support. You can honestly think of it as a financial lifeline, built specifically to help when that bill becomes a real struggle. Right, and this is probably the most important thing to get your head around. Council tax support, or CTS for short, is not cash in your hand. It's not a benefit that lands in your bank account. It's a discount that gets applied straight onto your bill, chopping down the amount you have to pay. It's a reduction, not a payment. So why does this all seem so complicated sometimes? Well, this slide right here is the answer. Before 2013, it was simple. One national system for everyone. But now, there are over 300 different schemes, because each local council runs its own. This means the rules for someone in Manchester could be totally different to the rules for someone in Cornwall. That's why it is absolutely vital to check the specific details for your own local council. But even with all those local differences, every single scheme is built on these three ideas. It's meant to be fair, so the help you get is based on your ability to pay. It's responsive, so if your circumstances change, say you get a pay rise or lose your job, your support can adjust. And it's localized, so councils can try to shape the scheme to fit what people in their area actually need. Right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Who can actually get this help? This is where you can start to figure out if this might be for you. So, who can claim? Well, first things first, your name has to be on the council tax bill. Simple as that. After that, it doesn't matter if you own your home or you're renting. You could be working on a low income, you could be out of work, or you could be getting other benefits like universal credit. The key thing at the end of the day is your household's financial situation. Okay, now if you're of working age, listen up, because this is a big one. It's not just about what you earn each week. Any savings or capital you have plays a major part in whether you'll qualify. And here's the crucial number. Now, it does vary, but a lot of councils set the savings limit for working age folks at £6,000. If you have more than that tucked away, and that can include things like shares, then you probably won't be eligible. Here's a quick tip, though. The value of the home you actually live in usually doesn't count towards this limit, but it's always best to double-check your own council's rules. However, as soon as you reach state pension age, the rules change quite a bit. There's a separate national scheme just for pensioners, and honestly, the rules are usually more generous and consistent no matter where you live. And you can see that difference right here. For pensioners, the savings limit is often much higher, usually around £16,000. And what's more, if you're getting the guarantee credit part of pension credit, there might be no savings limit at all. That can mean you get full support regardless of what you've got in the bank. All right, let's tackle the bit that can look the most complicated, the actual calculation. But please, don't switch off. While the details can get a bit fiddly, the idea behind it all is actually pretty straightforward. We'll break it down. The entire calculation is built around this one thing, the applicable amount. Now, don't let the jargon put you off. Just think of it as a baseline. It's the figure the council says a household just like yours, with your number of kids, your circumstances, needs as a minimum to live on each week. So here's how it works in a nutshell. First, the council figures out your household's unique applicable amount. Then they add up all your weekly income, and then they just compare the two. If your income is the same or less than your applicable amount, you'll probably get the maximum help your counsel offers. If it's higher, your support is just reduced bit by bit. Now, to make life easier, a lot of councils use a simple banded system like this. It makes it so much clearer. You just find your weekly income in the table, and it tells you exactly what discount you'll get. So, for example, if your weekly take-home pay was, say, £150, you'd fall into Band 2 and get a 50% discount on your bill. It's a really direct link between your earnings and the help you receive. Okay, this next point is really, really important. This is where most people slip up. The calculation isn't just about you and your partner. Any other adults living in your home can seriously change how much help you get. This is what's known as a non-dependent deduction. So a non-dependent is basically any other adult who lives with you. Think a grown-up son or daughter still at home, or maybe a friend. The council's logic is that this person should be chipping in towards the bills, so they reduce your council tax support by a fixed weekly amount. And the more that person earns, the bigger the deduction from your support will be. Okay, so we've covered what it is, who it's for, and how it's all calculated. Now let's switch gears to the practical stuff. How do you actually apply? And, just as importantly, what can you do if you think the council has got it wrong? Applying is pretty straightforward. Your first step is to go to your local council's website and find their application form. Next, get all your paperwork together. You'll need things like payslips, benefit letters, and bank statements. Then just fill the form in as carefully as you can. Once it's all sent off, the council will look at your claim and then write to you with their decision. But what happens when that decision letter arrives? You look at the figures and you just think, hang on a minute, that can't be right. Maybe they've got your income wrong or they've missed something important. Well, you don't just have to accept it. You absolutely have the right to appeal, but you have to be quick because the time limits are very strict. First, you must write to the council, explain why you think they're wrong, and ask them to look at it again. They have 2 months to get back to you. If you're still not happy, you can take your case to the Independent Valuation Tribunal. Now you'll want to hear this bit. You only have a further 2 months from the council's final decision to get that appeal in, so it's vital you don't hang about. And here is one final crucial reminder. You are legally required to tell the council about any change in your circumstances. That could be anything, a pay rise, a child leaving home, someone new moving in. You usually have about a month to report it. If you do it straight away, you can be sure you're always getting the right amount of help and avoid any nasty shocks later on. Phew, okay, we have covered a huge amount of ground. So let's finish off by pulling together the most important things to remember and what you should do next. So if you only remember 5 things from today, make it these. 1, CTS is a discount off your bill, not cash. 2, the rules are local, so always check with your counsel. 3, the calculation is basically your income versus your needs. 4, you must report changes. And 5, you always have the right to appeal a decision if you think it's wrong. Right, now this part is very important. Everything we've talked about today is for general guidance. Council tax support schemes can be complicated, and as we've said, they're all different. So before you take any action, we really do recommend that you speak to a professional advisor. If you need a hand navigating your claim, if you're trying to understand a decision letter, or you just want some expert advice on your personal situation, please don't hesitate to contact the team at My Tax Accountant. They are there to help you. All the details you need are right there on the screen. And if you'd like to go over any of this in a bit more detail, we have a full, comprehensive article on the My Tax Accountant blog that breaks it all down. The link is on your screen right now. Thank you so much for your time, and please don't forget to subscribe for more clear, helpful guides just like this one.